Welcome back to the Barbecue Lab. I'm David, this is Joel, and we're excited to be able to test some brisket knives today. We have 7 different brisket knives. We're going to put them to the test, cooking 4 briskets, and we're going to show you which one's the best that deserves your hard-earned money. With these brisket knives, we wanted to know which one sliced the best piece of brisket. And so to put it to the test, we're doing a cook for Joel's team over at work. So Joel, tell us what we're doing today.
We are cooking 4 briskets in total, different grades. Gonna do some taste tests with my staff and crew. That's for a different video. You can catch it at a later time. And we're gonna test these knives against one another afterwards and see which one performs the best.
So what I really wanted to find out is how these knives performed on a nice, juicy brisket. And we have those 4 different briskets to choose from, but we're gonna take 2 knives per brisket and put them to the test to see which one performs the best. As we go through and cut the brisket, we're gonna go ahead and make some mental notes, and we're gonna come back and give you a report on how we thought each one did. But in order to show you how each one performed, I wanna go ahead and take you through a little bit of a musical montage and show you some great B-roll. So that's how the cutting of the brisket went. I want to go ahead and now walk through all of these knives and talk about which one we think is the value pick the best winner at certain price points. And our first price point is going to start right here, and that these three knives are right at the $25 price point. So Joel, walk me through between the Dexter Russells and the Moriko. Which one of these would you choose as your go-to brisket knife for around the $25 price point?
That is a tough choice. I will say that the two, or these Dexter, these both had a more comfortable grip, and I find that to be helpful. The straight edge, I didn't feel like it held its sharpness very well. The scalloped edge held its edge much better, but it also was a little bit harder to get started without tearing your bark. The last one, this is the Moriko. This one, the handle's a little bit significantly less comfortable than these two, but a little bit blocky. This one had a little bit of a length issue, if I had to say. When we got to the thicker portions of the brisket to get all the way across, that length comes in handy with some of the knives, that this one didn't quite give us the length we would want.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on all counts. I thought that the Dexter with the scalloped edge, this really performed well underneath the bark. Once you got through the bark, it performed great. But that bark on top, it tended to tear it up a little bit. So I've seen scalloped and I've seen non-scalloped or serrated versus non-serrated knives in brisket cooks. But I gotta say, this wasn't my favorite for brisket. I did like the Dexter. I mean, this is a pretty inexpensive knife. If you have a honing steel or you have a knife sharpener at home, I bet you can get a lot done with this Dexter knife for under 25 bucks. Now, the Moriko, I want to talk about this one for just a second, because if you look at the grip on this, it's very rectangular in the way that this grip works. And so when you put it in your hand, it's got some edges on the side. It didn't really detract from my use of it. I felt like it had a decent blade on it, but it was one where I didn't love the handle right away. I liked the knife, but I wasn't in love with the handle. So I think still, for under 25 bucks, this is one that I would absolutely not hesitate to have in my arsenal for the price. Okay, so the next price range is going to be under $50. And under $50 is right here. We're going to start here. We have the Cutlux, we have the 2.0, and we have the others as well. So talk to me, under 50 bucks, any of these five knives, which is the one that you would take?
That would be the Cutlux for sure. This one is the handle, while it's not exactly contoured, it's a lot more comfortable than some of the other knives. It's got a good balance, weight feel to it, and it maintained its edge very well. This knife had a good cut, a decent, but nothing overall that impressed
me. So when I look at these knives, especially under the $50 price point, for me, it's a clear winner. I mean, this Cutlux was a fantastic knife. There's an absolute reason why so many of these sell on Amazon every day. I like the handle in that it's much larger. Like, for example, if you put it next to the Moriko, you might not see it this way. If you look this way, you can see how much wider that handle is. It's got a lot better grip to it. I felt really at home with this knife, as well as the blade, even today, still has a good level of sharpness after going through probably about 4 briskets with this thing. So absolutely would recommend the Cutlux brisket knife. As far as the 2.0 goes, this used to be called the Fiery Phoenix series. I can't remember what it's called now, but this knife is one that I enjoy the length of the knife, but I wish it didn't contour down in size. I wish that it was the same thickness all across the whole length of the blade, which is what we have in almost all these others. But that's one of the things I don't love about this particular knife. But it does feel good in the hand, but I would take the Cutlux over the 2.0 as of my choice today. Now, for the high end of the competition, we have this section right here, and we have the Dalstrong 14-inch slicer, as well as the Hexclad slicing kit. Now, with the Hexclad, you get the slicer, and you get a meat fork, and so that combo unit is going to run a little bit more because you're getting 2 pieces. And then we also have the Dalstrong, and this is the 14-inch version of their slicing knife, by far the longest in the test. So, Joel, my question is, if you had any knife right here under $190, which is where the top end is, what one are you going to take with you for under 190 bucks?
This one.
Okay.
This was my overall favorite. I kept going back to this one when I had more brisket and more people to feed. This between the combination of the way it felt in my hand, but the continued edge that it seemed to keep throughout, it just seemed to continually slice well and continue to perform well through multiple briskets and probably 50 slices. So this would be my overall first choice. I tell you that one of the knives that I thought sliced well and performed fairly well, and I really wanted to love because it's very attractive, was the hex clad. The biggest disadvantage I found was when we got to the wider portion of the brisket, this knife was shorter than all of the rest in the test, which gave it a significant disadvantage because you could not get across the wide portion of the briskets with this knife without having to angle it downward to get across and cut the meat all the way across.
So my overall first choice is, when it comes to all of them, I'm really torn because I really like the Cutlux. I like it a lot. I also really like the added length of the 14-inch Dowstrong. So for me, the added length when you get into those really wide briskets and you're getting up towards the middle, this was nice because you didn't have to feel like you were cutting down on it and trying to slice it across. You're just going across the whole entire brisket with this. So I really, really like the Dowstrong 14-inch Gladiator series. And the Cutlux, I'm crazy impressed for the price. For just around 50 bucks, a little bit under 50 bucks, you can have this brisket knife. And man, this is a huge value leader as far as I'm concerned in the category. This is a fantastic knife. So I want to say thanks for joining us here at the Barbecue Lab today. If you're interested in any of these knives, we put all of the links down in the description below where you can find them for the lowest price that we're aware of. Melissa, who's behind the camera, does a dynamite job of keeping these links updated throughout the week to make sure you can get the best price. As well as we just launched our own Amazon page. If you want to go to our Amazon storefront, just go over to amazon.com/shop/The Barbecue Lab, and you can find all of our best recommendations for gift giving or for you at home. We know that you're going to love it, so head on over there and check that out. And as always, we'll put the link to the Amazon storefront below so you can just click from the description. As well as our shop page on thebarbecuelab.com. It's just thebarbecuelab.com/shop. We have all of our favorite things on there and the links to take you to where you can get the cheapest price possible. I'm David.
Joel.
And we want to say thank you for joining us here at the Barbecue Lab today. Have a great one, and I can't wait to see you next time.
I thought showing this one came up.
That one does. Nope. Does. Nope.
Is that an acorn?
Yeah. Everything's trying to stop us from filming this video.